Hey, how you
Nangle,
doing?
I'm good. How are you?
doing
Doing
great.
great.
Thank you.
Good.
I'm
Sorry
s-
if I'm
glad.
late.
So, how the hell are you, man?
I'm doing. Today's been a day. How about you?
Oh man, rough one, rough one.
Yeah. Okay. I'm glad we're on the same boat.
Yeah, it's been a long weekend.
My phone, you know. Um, yeah. So, but thank you for coming to the shady part of town and hanging out with
Hey. I wouldn't do it any other way. So.
awesome. Your stuff is really cool, man. Been checking it out. It's awesome.
Thank you. I
So,
appreciate that.
hear everything. That's pretty badass.
Well,
Um,
thank you.
yeah, no, not at all. What do you want to go into it, Chris, or what's up, man? I got
Um,
questions for days, so it don't matter. Yeah, what's up?
okay, well, I'll start, I guess. I was watching the Ugly Sweater Party. What stood out a lot while filming that one?
What was it? What? Like in
Ugly
Idlewild?
Sweater Party. Uh, what stood out to you like while doing that one?
Oh, what stood out to me? Um, Well, that was kind of like my first collaboration in like the horror community. I had basically when I broke into acting, I did musical theater, and then when I came out to LA, I kind of focused on comedies and dramas, but my heart was always in horror. And so I knew I wanted to do it. Yeah, exactly. I knew I wanted to do it, but I didn't know how. And then finally, I just kind of took the leap and wrote a short film that was based on the haunted house I grew up in, and we shot it. Put it into the film festival circuit. Was able to network with people, and that's how I met Charles Chudabala and Hunter Johnson, who are connected with Ugly Sweater Party. And they just kind of put out this mass casting call. And I was like, I'm in. I don't care what it is. I want to be in, and I want to network with everybody, and I want to work on different projects, and show everybody like what I can do and what I got. So it was a wild experience, only because I have like two or three lines, and my character is named Sister Nips, which is kind of raunchy, which is kind of like a slapstick, raunchy, dark comedy anyway, horror comedy. So basically, it took me 3 hours to get to Idlewild for set. I was there for maybe 2.5 hours. A good hour and a half of that was hanging out with one of the other actors in the main cabin, sitting next to a fire, trying to stay warm. We were warned, if you go to the bathroom, you have to go in pairs because there are wild coyotes and like crazy animals outside, and that terrified the life out of me. Uh,
Oh,
and then I shot for a half an hour, had some laughs, and then I left and drove home for 3 hours. So that's my ugly sweater party story. I wouldn't give it up for the world. It was a great experience with amazing people. I had some laughs. Now that it's out there, and it kind of took like about a year and a half for it to come out. I had already established Malvolia, so people were kind of connecting the two, but nobody realizes that was my first kind of collab in the horror genre with everybody.
yeah, I didn't realize that. I was like
Yeah,
looking into you, trying to find like all I could about you.
yeah,
So came across that one.
Yeah,
yeah.
I asked him. He said he had some questions. He's like, "Oh yeah," and he whips out. Pretty awesome. How has your
Okay.
the horror community been? Like, has it been? Because the horror communities, from from my experience, very friendly. We embrace everybody. Like,
It,
how has your experience been?
I'll say Los Angeles is a very hard city to be in, especially when you are always kind of competing with the same people over the same roles.
Yes.
You kind of figure out who your frenemies are, you kind of find out who your crew is. Um, what I think is amazing is that everybody that I do meet is absolutely kind and nice and generous. And I luckily found my core group really, really quickly. And those are the ones that I always collaborate with. I'll always hit up first. And then, when little parts kind of open up, I kind of branch out and kind of, want to meet and work with everybody. But I definitely found my family in the
Yes.
horror community. But I will say everybody's super nice, super kind, super generous, and it's a good community. It is kind of like high school, but it is a good community.
And go to certain areas of it, and you're like, what? All right, yeah.
Yeah, that's not my side. I'm not hanging out with the cool kids today. I'll go hang out with the band geeks. That's what I want to do. So
That's really good, very good. Wanted to ask you about what was it that attracted you to horror? Like, were you a little kid and you found like the comic book, or was there a certain movie that like smacked you across the face and you were like, this is my shit? Like, well,
I grew up in a small town just north of Boston called Danvers. It's right next to Salem. So ever since I was really young, we were always surrounded by the history of the Salem witches and everything like that. So that was kind of always there. And the house that I grew up in was right down the street from the Rebecca Nurse house, and she was one of the oldest women to be hanged as a witch. And so that's a very prominent historical site. So all of these little history things have always been around me. Salem's really huge in October. But my dad is super into the Universal horror monsters. He's always been, Dracula, Frankenstein. My grandmother was a big Hitchcock fan. She reads a lot of vampire movies. So it was super normal to talk about Anne Rice over a holiday dinner, or some sort of like murder mystery. My mom's huge into murder mysteries and always like killings and deaths. And I mean, it was always the norm. So it's always kind of been there. Yeah. But I was always really timid to do a project in horror because I was afraid I wouldn't be able to give it the life that it really deserved, but whatever. You just got to go for it sometimes.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah, thank you.
Surrounded by such deep lore with, horror.
Yes. Yeah.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Got a question, man?
Oh yeah.
He's like, yeah, all right, hit me.
How's it been working with Felicia Rose? I've seen you've done a few things with her.
I unfortunately have not worked with her. I've been attached to projects that she's been in, but I've never worked with her. I did when I was writing for Pop Horror, every month I would do a woman in horror. I would showcase a woman in horror, and she was one of them. Communication was super easy with her, super nice, just high energy. And then I ran into her, I want to say it was Monsterpalooza of last year, not this year, but last year, or Son of Monsterpalooza, one of the two. And she's just always so like welcoming and warm and kind and high energy and always happy to see you. She's a delight. I just can't wait until I can have the chance to actually work with her.
Yeah. Lake after the social. Just don't do that.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I'm good with that.
She's a sweetheart, and she genuinely loves her fans. She's very great.
That is the one thing that I absolutely absolutely about her, is that everybody is equal. She loves everybody. She is always so happy to see everybody, and she's never bitter or angry about where she is. She's always super thankful. And that is an admiration I have for her.
Heard about diva mode, anything like that. So that's great. That's great. Oh crap. I wanted to ask you, what was it that, I mean, obviously your character that you did, YouTube, horror.
Yeah.
What was it that, I just thought of this like 10 minutes ago. How is it, aside from, aesthetics, because I mean, as a horror character, she's gorgeous. Hey, but.
Well, thank you.
Like, where did you come up with it? How did you I don't know. I can't.
How was she founded?
Thank you. Brain fart.
No worries.
Came up.
So Malvolia was never supposed to be what she is, if that makes any sense. Originally, I had written a treatment, which is kind of like an outline of a feature film script that I wanted to do for a horror franchise. That when I'd prefer not to say, but it was politely rejected politely rejected, in a kind way, in a very nice kind way. But by the guy that created the franchise. But one of the producers was like, "You really have something here. You should move forward with it." And then, not being under the stipulations of the franchise anymore, I could do whatever I wanted. It's a found, if it makes any sense, it's a found footage film franchise with a lead female. And I was like, well, I'm just gonna, kind of tear it apart and kind of do a found footage film that I want to do and talk about the things that I want to talk about, but I still want to keep this strong female character that I originally had. And so I went to, again, we'll say like Monsterpalooza or Son of Monsterpalooza or whatever, whenever the year they were honoring Elvira. And I was never an Elvira fan because I wasn't allowed to watch her. I was more Tales of the Crypt. But
Pretty good.
I'm still in it. But I went to this horror con for the very first time. I never been to any horror cons. And so I went to this one and they were honoring Elvira, and I was just so amazed by how many people were standing in line for hours paying the amount of money that they are paying. Not saying that she's not worth it, but I'm saying paying the amount of money that they are paying for maybe 1 minute of this woman's time. Like, it just blew my mind. And I was like, that's fucking rad. Like,
Right.
Yeah, it's so dope. Like, there is something to this, And so I decided, okay, well, I'm going to, because nobody's talking about it anymore. Whatever. Nobody talks about horror hosts anymore. So I stand correct. Well,
yes.
I stand corrected now, because as soon as I got into it, you learn so much. But at the time, I was like, nobody's really talking. Nobody does this anymore. I'm going to take this character and talk about being a horror host on a YouTube channel, internet YouTube channel, and just kind of show this found footage film about her. Well, as I was writing it, I was like, and I was going through a Blair Witch phase. I was like, I want to make her real. I want to make people kind of connect with her before the movie comes out. How do I do that? I'll just do a quick web series, create this character, get a fan base, do the feature, and I'll be done.
I'll knock that out in an afternoon,
Yeah, right. Just a couple months work. I mean, whatever.
No sweat.
I meticulously really kind of figured out ways of how I wanted to present her. I teamed up with a couple horror blogger sites to announce the web series, the fake web series that I was going to do. And my boyfriend and I worked on a particular picture to showcase and put out there. And I thought I was going to get hate. I thought I was going to be accused of copying. I thought people were going to just not like the idea. It was the total opposite. I was like, oh my God, people really like me. And they're really interested in this.
I know that, it's always Elvira, Paul Bearer, and there's many Paul Bearers.
Yes.
I was raised, Elvira and Pamela Voorhees were my babysitters when I was a kid. So,
oh, hell yeah.
Hey, what's up? So
yeah.
people were kind of, looking for like a new, fresh, horror host, essentially.
But what is crazy is that there are so many across the country that are still doing public access, and they're still doing it. But at the time, I really didn't think. And you're right. There are people that are still fans of that idea. And so when I came out, and I kind of came out in a big way, I announced it through a couple horror blog sites, and I, did this big extravaganza and, hinted I was having this big, huge announcement, playing the game with the social media and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And I think that worked in my favor, because here I was thinking I was only going to do a couple episodes, and now people want full-fledged seasons, and they want to give me their videos to host, and they want me to showcase and I'm like, wait, me? This is awesome. Yes, I love it. But how I came up with the character is I really wanted to bring it back to kind of like Vampira, 1950s, 60s-ish. So I took Vampira, I did a whole bunch of research on her, and I followed her lead and kind of incorporated it with Morticia Addams. And I came up with Malvolia. Malvolia means ill will in Italian. It's kind of like a vampire name. And the Queen of Screams is just a play on of Scream Queen. And the dress was a lucky find on Amazon.com.
It's a great look.
Well, thank you. I can't find the dress now, so I'm screwed. I gotta figure something else out. But
that's awesome. But yeah, you went about it in very intelligent. You said meticulously. Fantastic.
Yeah, I strategically figured it out. Yes.
Yeah, I first came across you in 1031.
You heard
Yes.
about me through 1031?
Yeah, it's the first time I like saw you in anything, and since then just love you.
Well, thank you. It is kind of funny. A lot of people thought that I was just brought on for 1031 just to play this horror host, but I mean that 1031 situation is a whole other story. I was talking to Brett Yeager, and I saw that he was just finishing up his film for 1031, and I'm like, dude, how do I get in on this movie? Like, and he's like, oh, Jen, you came at a bad time. You know, like we've already shot our shorts. You know, the movie's pretty much wrapped, but you should really get in touch with Rocky Gray. He's super, super chill. You know, I'm sure you would get along with him. And, you know, for future projects, you know, maybe he'll use you. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm on it. So immediately I friend requested him and he accepted my friend request. And I was like, hey, I've been seeing all these great things about 1031. You know, if you ever need an actress or horror hostess, you know, let me know. And he's like, well, what do you know? And so he kind of wrote those little segments for me. And it kind of was great because it exposed me to a whole other horror realm. Like
Yeah.
I kind of got a little stuck on this YouTube LA vibe. And then I was kind of expanded over to the East Coast. And a lot of people thought that I was just brought on for this character, but then they found out that I had a series. And so I just gained like a whole bunch of other, you know, supporters. It's really awesome. Really, really awesome.
You tell her you were in what? You're in 1020, was it 1031?
No, I'm going to be in the barn part 2.
Oh, you are with
Yeah,
Zane.
I went up to film up in Ohio as an extra with Justin Seaman and Zane.
Nice.
Really nice guys.
I don't know Justin very well, but he's always been super cool. And I love Zane. Zane is supportive and he is kind and he is just a genuine great guy. So you are in good hands. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, it was a really good time. It was nice learning more about the filming experience and how long all that takes.
Oh, it's crazy, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
You're definitely going to, because I told him, I says, hey, well, make sure you wear something that stands out. So we
know who you are. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm the brightest one in the room.
Yes, man.
Yeah, well, it's 80s based, so I found a 80s style lime green jogging suit.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Where did you find that?
Amazon.
Amazon. I'm sure it's super hot. I can't wait. I know I'm going to be able to spot you out now. I'll be like, lime green jumpsuit. Hey.
Hauling ass across the screen. I can't wait to see it. That's great.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm sure with them too. It was a good time. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Do you have a dream project that you'd like to do now that you're kind of horror host badass? What's up?
My heart is always in acting. You know, I always think about acting. The series whenever I'll host a short film, but I always try and do at least like a skit or something because that's my true love. I have currently 4 feature films I'm writing. I'm not really much of a very good writer. I think like short form I can write really well, but when it comes to long form, I'm like, what am I doing? What is going on? So that little voice starts getting in my head, and then I start another project. But there are a couple babies that I have in the works that I would just love to get done. And I think one of them is moving fairly quickly as far as writing is concerned. So I'm thinking that one's probably going to be filmed in 2020, hopefully.
Ooh,
but yeah,
certain people you'd like to work with in the horror community,
Adam Green. I'm always about Adam Green. He's a Boston boy. I'm a Boston girl, so I think we would totally get along. I'm open to Eli Roth. He's not like my super favorite, but I would be, if he would go back to Hostel style, I'd be so in it. So in it. Rob Zombie, obviously. Robert Rodriguez.
Checking them all off.
Yeah, right? Might as well. And J.J. Abrams. J.J. Abrams is like my number one. If I could ever work with him, I would probably die the happiest person in the entire world.
I wish he would make a slasher flick. That would
Yeah.
be something else. And I wish Eli Roth would make a giallo. Really, that would.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. You've had a lot of different shorts in your series, when you're in your YouTube series. Any of those that like stood out to you that you're like your favorite ones?
I knew you were going to ask me this. This is always such a hard question because
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
there is a lot of them, and I know what it is to put into a film. I know what it's like from start to finish. And I really always try to give everybody a chance at the spotlight because I just know how hard it is to even just finish something. Like most of the time, a lot of people don't even finish anything. But the one that truly stood out to me and was such a wonderful experience was, I forget the title, but it was one of the Christmas ones. Hold on, let me look it up, because if you've never seen this short, it is amazing. I decided during season 1 to do the most brilliant idea and do 12 dark days of Christmas. And so I had 2 weeks to put in 12 straight days of content. I don't recommend anybody doing that because that was probably the hardest thing I've ever done in my entire life. What is it called? Humbug.
Okay.
There's a short film called Humbug, and basically I got this idea just right before Thanksgiving to do the 12 Dark Days of Christmas. And I'm like, well, I need Christmas shorts, but like a lot of people don't do a lot of holiday short films. Like I've been looking for a Thanksgiving one to showcase and I can't find anything. But usually Christmas is pretty good. I'd love to do a Hanukkah one if anybody has anything out there and they want to send it to me. But I've for the past 4 years, I've been a part of this film festival called Zed Fest. They are the most amazing, supportive film festival I've ever been a part of, and they just love indie stuff. The quality of their films has gone up a lot, and I've luckily been a part of it with the growth. But so I'm sitting there and I'm like, what am I gonna do? I need a holiday film. I really want like a one solid holiday film that I know would just super stand out and everybody would love. And all of a sudden, this short film comes on called Humbug, and it is a seasonal one. And I'm like, oh my God, this is genius. And it's showcasing 2 strong women actresses. And I was like, this movie is awesome. And then so I started to do research, and I'm like, they're all over the place with the film festival. There's no way they're going to give me their film to showcase. There's no way. So I'm trying to figure out how I was going to contact them. And I just luckily just kind of stumbled upon, like, you can message people through YouTube, which I don't know if you could still do. Can you still do that now? I don't even know. Like, YouTube is like, I don't even know. I do the best I can on that. But I stumbled upon you could message them. And so I messaged them and they immediately got back to me and they're like, yep, here it is. Whatever you want. Do whatever you need to do.
That's amazing.
That's awesome.
It was awesome. It was so awesome. I don't even know them. I have no connections to them. And just the fact that they let me do that was so cool. So no bias or anything. Everybody's super good, but Humbug's a really great story.
Awesome.
Love about social media is you can do that.
It really is.
Yeah. Blows my mind. I can contact Kane Hodder, and
you can.
You know, it's crazy. It's crazy.
You can. Yeah, I know.
Thing.
Let's call him right now. No, I'm just kidding.
But,
on the show, you've had a few different drinks that I've seen. Has any of them been like your favorite one?
The Ill Will cocktail is hands down my favorite one. Hands down. And we didn't even think that Victor was going to stay on for much longer. Like, I thought he was just going to come on for one episode and he'd be dead and that's it. Because again, I wasn't planning on doing a whole season. I wasn't even planning on doing 3 seasons. I wasn't planning on coming this far. And so I think he's made that drink before. He just kind of switched it up a bit. But the Ill Will cocktail is the best one. Best. I highly suggest
I'll have to
it.
try that sometime.
Try zombie. It's like a suicide. It's done. I don't recommend.
No.
Your neighbor's yard with your pants on.
Hey.
Hey. So, got more questions, man? I know you do,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah, I saw saw that the Malvolia, the Queen of Screams, won some awards. Can you tell us
Yes.
something about that?
Ooh.
Yes, I can. I'm trying to think, which ones can I tell you about? I mean, I'll say we, because this was a group effort. We just won 4 awards at Dead Fest last night. I won Outstanding Performance and Outstanding Story Script. And then my cast won Best Ensemble Award for acting. And then Richard Trejo won Best Director. And that was for the Halloween special last year, which I am super proud of. Super, super, super proud of. That was a film that we kind of, pushed, and we, took out of our comfort zone. We were able to get like a free location, and we just went wild and we just went for it. And I think what Richard did cinematography wise was absolutely stunning. I think I hate to say it, but I think it's like my favorite special we've ever done. So we won last night. 2 years ago, I won Best Horror Host at the Independent Horror Movie Awards. And that was the first year I came out. A lot of them has to do with like, script writing and best acting, which is always really wonderful. It's always really, really wonderful, because I was just telling one of my friends yesterday, we were sitting in traffic, and she's like, "How's Malvolia going?" And I'm like, I gotta be honest with you, like it's such a peak and valley type thing for me, because I put a lot of time and I put a lot of effort and work into doing just even like the littlest things. Like any filmmaker knows that like 5 minutes of content is like at least a couple hours. And then like the hair and the makeup and the costuming and everything is extra.
Just
And so
you on screen. It's
yes.
acting.
And then this season, I'm doing everything by myself. I'm shooting pretty much, besides like the certain skits that we've done, like all the intro outros are being done by myself. I'm also doing another series for morbidlybeautiful.com for their YouTube site. So it's like I'm shooting, I'm directing, I'm editing, I'm writing, I'm finding the content. And that really does suck up a lot of time. And then I'll put it out there, and then I don't really hear very much. So in my mind, when you don't hear anything, you think, oh my God, nobody likes it. Nobody's watching. Nobody cares. But then I went to this table read that I had for this vampire movie that I'm doing. And one of the girls was like, "You're such an inspiration. You are so talented." And I'm like, oh my God, it's so good to hear, because a lot of times I'm sitting here by myself just doing stuff, So just even being nominated for stuff is a huge accomplishment. Winning is absolutely wonderful. So I appreciate that people, you guys included too, recognize me and really enjoy what I'm doing, because a lot of times I'm sitting here by myself like, people like that? I don't even know if they're even watching.
Our channel is, no, to me, numbers, I don't care.
Yeah.
That, but then come to find out, we did a Google search, and we're translated in Russian, and we're going here and we're doing this, and the audio, nuts. So it's kind of like, there's a lot of stuff happening that you're not even aware of, and then
Absolutely.
just one day you're like, really, they laughed at my dick joke. Wow, like, so yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, you get it. You totally get it. Yeah.
But you came out swinging, man. You came out bitch slapping everybody. Like, wow.
I feel like I'm kind of in a lull right now. I know that probably doesn't sound right, since we just came off with a great winning night last night, but I feel like I'm kind of in a lull. I'm like, I'm actually kind of questioning whether I want to go on and do season 4, or if I just want to just kind of end it now, or maybe kind of limit it down to like, so there's things that I've been thinking about and stuff, but yeah.
That's good to hear, man. Fantastic. Keep it up.
Yeah.
Like,
I saw you did something on 1031 Part 2. You wrote and directed a segment.
Mhm.
How did that all come about?
So it was always Rocky had said, if there was ever a part 2, that I was always going to be a part of it. I was always going to be with it. And then back in, I want to say it was February, he released one of the posters, and I was one of the posters, and I was like, oh my god, like this is super serious.
That's awesome. That's
I
awesome.
know, and I look really badass. Like, Google it now. Like, I look killer in that
Yes,
poster.
Oh yeah, you do.
sure
They
has.
totally shaped me out and looked me boom, I look good. So I was like, okay, this is great. But then when it came time to kind of shooting my segment, I had one idea, and then it kind of got limited down to, just an intro outro again, which is totally fine. I appreciate that I'm still a part of it, and that I'm, I have the exposure and everything like that. So I wanted it where I had full control over it, because my friend Hunter directed the first one, the first intro outro for part 1. So I wanted kind of full control of the second one, and what little control I could have. I wrote it and directed it and edited it, and then threw it to Rocky, and he put some special effects in it, and it looks pretty badass. Yeah.
It's
So,
awesome.
Saying
yeah.
this, ordering a pizza. That's amazing. So cool. That's so cool. So you part 2. That's great.
Yeah, part 2. It just came out. It's on it. You can watch it on Amazon Prime. Yeah, it's out on Amazon Prime through Screen Team Releasing. Yeah, it came out right before Halloween. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm about to watch that probably here tonight.
We have
I haven't been able to yet. I have a lot of
Yeah.
other stuff I was watching,
Yeah,
trying as much as I could.
yeah, I know. I'm sure you guys have a lot you got to watch. This, I got to be honest, this second one takes on a whole new road. You get like a whole bunch of faux trailers, and a lot of the shorts are super strong. So it's really fun. It is really fun. Yeah.
Let's see. I don't know. I know you got questions, dude. Like,
I just actually ran out. That's my last one.
wow. Oh,
Woo!
let's see. I even thought of a question while she was
Do you have
talking.
anything else in the works that's going to be coming out that you can talk about?
What's up? What's in the pipe?
So we're I got, let's see, it was like a couple months ago. I want to say maybe June. I don't know. All the months are merging together. But
Right.
there is a special effects team out here called Boneyard Effects, and they've worked closely with Universal Studios for the past like 13 years, and they decided they were going to branch off this year. And he decided that he wanted to do a web series, so he was looking for a horror host, and I got tagged in the post by a friend, and I hit them up and I booked the job. And so I hosted their first web series. I believe it's Boneyard Effects on YouTube. And it's really fun because they do all practical special effects. Like,
That's the
they're,
best.
yes, right? I mean, like, I slice a girl and she just bleeds. And Frankenstein, he looks amazing. Like, his makeup looks so cool. Like, the zombie that comes in, he just looks so authentic and real because it is so practical, and they're a super talented team. Well, they decided that they're gonna do a vampire feature film called Horrorvelt, and we are shooting the trailer, the feature trailer, in 2 weeks, and that'll be for an Indiegogo or Kickstarter. I don't know which way they're going, but they're going to do that, and then hopefully we'll be shooting early 2020, and I play the queen vampire, which is so badass.
Ooh.
And I had to learn a German accent for it, which it's not very good right now, but I've had some help, so hopefully it'll come off really good. And my costume is so killer. And I'm hoping Desert Moon was supposed to come out. Desert Moon is a werewolf movie that I shot back in May. Richard Grieco is in it, Sarah French is in it, and it's by director and actor Thomas Haley. And that was supposed to come out in Christmas, but I think it's being pushed a couple months, so that'll probably be 2020. And then I also shot in May just a a co-star role in Unholy Attraction by Alex Wang, who also did Lilith. And so that should be coming out December or very, very early early 2020 from what I hear. It's pretty close to being finished. So yeah.
Everywhere.
Awesome.
I wish.
Awesome.
I haven't had world domination yet.
I'll have to check those out.
Yeah. You can watch if you're interested, you can watch Lilith on Amazon Prime for free if you've got Amazon Prime. It's a horror anthology about Lilith the demon. Felissa Rose is in it, and my scene is with Vernon Wells, which was so fun.
That's Vernon Wells is awesome.
And he really is an awesome dude. Like I had no idea who he was. Like I didn't know about Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, he's the bad guy. That's awesome.
Yeah, I didn't know any of that. And so when I met him, I'm like, who are you? But we clicked, and he is such a delight, and we had so much fun shooting it. So, yeah.
So bad guys, but in real life, he's a really nice guy. Usually that's how it's good.
Well, I play a very bad, evil woman, and
you're just a delight to talk to.
Smart man. I will come out and get you.
Well, listen, I can't thank you enough for hanging out in the shady part of town with us.
Yeah. That's how we roll.
This was great talking to you. I've learned a lot, actually. We're going to see you all over the place here the next year or two. You're going to
don't get sick of me.
But yes, thank you so much for hanging out.
Thank you for having me. This was fun.